From a Taiwanese immigrant to the global king of AI chips, he led NVIDIA's market value to soar to $3.26 trillion. He is Jensen Huang, a legendary figure dubbed the next Steve Jobs. Starting with gaming graphics cards and betting on AI for the future, NVIDIA's rise was not smooth. Today, let's step into the legendary story of this Chinese tech patriarch. Today, Jensen Huang holds even more shining titles, such as Father of AI and Top Chinese Entrepreneur. These titles came with the explosion of ChatGPT, benefiting the NVIDIA PUS that power it. It is no exaggeration to say that in the era of artificial intelligence, computing power has become hard currency and a rigid demand. And those who control the gateway to computing power, NVIDIA, will inevitably become the top giants pursued by global tech companies. But who would have thought about the darkest moments that Jensen Huang faced? In 1993, Jensen Huang fulfilled his promise to propose to his wife. He said he would own his own company by the age of 30. So he founded NVIDIA. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. That was to make graphics chips. But the graphics chip market was already saturated at that time. The competition in the market was brutal. To succeed, he had to carve a bloody path out from among over 100 companies in Silicon Valley. Amidst doubts from others, he devoted himself entirely to the development of graphics chips. In 1995, NVIDIA launched its first graphics card, the NVONE, which integrated 2D display and 3D acceleration. However, the performance advantage of this card's square rendering technology over the mainstream triangular rendering technology was not significant. As a result, the sales of this non-cost-effective NVONE were predictable. At this point, Jensen Huang had spent all the money to launch the NVONE. The funds he had left could only sustain the company for another 30 days. In a desperate situation, he could only buy time by cutting expenses. He reduced the company's workforce from over 100 people to just 30. Fortunately, just when things were at their worst, Japanese gaming giant Sega provided a lifeline for the struggling NVIDIA. Jensen Huang received an order worth about $7 million. At that time, no one held much hope for NVIDIA, but Sega decided to give them a shot and let them develop graphics cards for their Saturn console. The development process was not smooth. Sega found that NVIDIA's quadratic texture mapping technology had defects and hoped they would adopt polygonal 3D technology. For this, Sega even provided engineers to assist NVIDIA in developing the NV2. But Jensen Huang stubbornly insisted on his ideas. After more than a year of development, Jensen Huang and his team realized that their design architecture did have problems and the technology did not meet the requirements. At that time, Microsoft was about to release Windows 95 Direct3 based on reverse texture mapping and triangles. This meant that if NVIDIA completed Sega's console, they would produce products incompatible with Windows. Jensen Huang was in a dilemma. Giving up the contract would mean bankruptcy for the company. Completing the contracted product would make it impossible to enter the mainstream market. Fortunately, after Jensen Huang terminated the cooperation with Sega, Sega still paid for the contract, giving NVIDIA some breathing room and a chance to turn things around. After that, NVIDIA launched the world's first 128-bit 3D processor, the Riva 128 chip. This cost-effective and powerful product activated the emerging 3D market. It also earned NVIDIA a reputation. In 1999, after 6 years of entrepreneurship, Jensen Huang finally rang the bell on Nasdaq. In October of that year, NVIDIA launched a GPU product called GeForce 156. This not only ushered in a new era for display chips, but also injected vitality into the development of PC gaming. From then on, NVIDIA seemed to have gained superpowers. Jensen Huang's net worth also soared. He was ranked 12th on Forbes' list of under 40 wealthy individuals in 2001. With the launch of the second-generation GPU and the successful establishment of the G4 series products in the graphics card market, Jensen Huang relied on the production capabilities of foundries like TSMC and proposed Huang's law based on Intel's Moore's law. This law states that the performance of display chips doubles every 6 months. He also aimed to seize market share through a comprehensive acceleration of the iteration frequency. The core concept of Huang's law is just 2 words: accelerate. In August 2002, the world's most famous display chip manufacturer ATI released the first graphics card supporting DirectX 9.0, the Radeon 9700 Pro, which instantly set the market ablaze. People expected Jensen Huang's GeForce FX 5800 to make a comeback. However, the product released 3 months later not only failed to impact ATI, but instead created a mess for itself. The huge noise from this graphics card earned it the nickname blow dryer from gamers. Some even joked that it was the biggest failure since the NVIDIA. To make matters worse, NVIDIA employees were accused of insider trading. This led to an investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Even worse, it was the period of the internet bubble burst. The fund crunch triggered a massive stock market crash, and NVIDIA was no exception. Stock prices and market shares plummeted sharply, nearly hitting rock bottom. From 2002 to 2003, NVIDIA's stock price lingered below $1. A series of adverse news dragged NVIDIA into a quagmire. In January 2007, Steve Jobs' iPhone redefined the mobile phone. The advent of the iPhone also kicked off the era of mobile internet. Amidst the rise of smartphones, the chip market once again ignited. Jensen Huang was also unwilling to miss this opportunity. He had always wanted to carve out a share among companies like Samsung, Qualcomm, and MediaTek. However, his first-generation Tegra chip faced criticism for high power consumption, overheating, and a series of issues. In 2014, this failed product in the smartphone segment found new opportunities in the automotive sector, becoming another profit growth point for NVIDIA. In light of the situation, Jensen Huang had to temporarily give up the smartphone market. He described this as a strategic retreat and abandonment. However, his obsession with mobile chips never waned. In September 2020, NVIDIA announced plans to acquire mobile chip leader ARM from SoftBank for $40 billion. After a lengthy 17 months, this largest chip acquisition in history ultimately fell through. The $1.25 billion deposit Jensen Huang paid was also wasted. Afterward, Jensen Huang expressed that he didn't necessarily must acquire ARM. But to say he accepted this result willingly would clearly be a lie. In earlier years, some called him the next Steve Jobs. By November 2021, NVIDIA's market value soared to $834.04 billion. The public eagerly anticipated them becoming the first chip company to surpass $1 trillion in market value. However, Jensen Huang and NVIDIA faced a nearly catastrophic blow. In 2020 and 2021, NVIDIA launched 2 flagship products in succession. The first was the Ampere architecture GPU A100 and the new generation Hopper architecture GPU H100. These 2 products showed significant performance improvements over the previous generation. In a cheerful atmosphere, the A100 received orders from automakers like Tesla and NIO for autonomous driving training. However, an announcement from the U.S. government limiting the export of A100 and H100 to China plunged NVIDIA into turmoil. On that day, NVIDIA's stock price dropped sharply by over 11%, losing nearly $30 billion in market value. In the following 5 trading days, the stock price plummeted. Nearly $100 billion in market value was wiped out. In NVIDIA's fiscal years 2022 and 2023, the Chinese market contributed substantial revenue. So, would losing the Chinese market be a fatal blow for Jensen Huang's NVIDIA? Data shows that the A100 contributes over half to the company's data center business. And the data center has long replaced gaming as NVIDIA's largest source of income. For example, in the latest fiscal year first quarter, NVIDIA's data center revenue accounted for nearly 60% of total revenue. Jensen Huang confessed that once we are deprived of the Chinese market, we have no contingency measures. On the other hand, the gaming business has declined in the past 2 years. In fiscal year 2023, NVIDIA's total gaming revenue dropped by 27% year-on-year. Looking back now, Jensen Huang is undoubtedly a capable, determined, and fortunate person. With the wave of AI, NVIDIA's market value has reached $3.26 trillion. What are your thoughts on Jensen Huang? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.